Hi guys, so I figured today would be a good day to show you a little bit about our solar. I've had a lot of questions and hopefully this will provide some answers. Keep in mind though, solar is going to be individual for pretty much every house. Your needs and what you're going to want to have in the system may be different from what I have here. Ours is designed to run our house, which we're actually in the process of building right now. But I'll show you the system, I'll show you how it works, and hopefully that'll give you, like I said, some insight on what you'll need to do if you want to get solar and get up and running. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want in your solar setup is obviously the panels. Okay, these are solar panels right here. These are 370 watts a piece. They come in varying sizes. You can get solar panels anywhere from 50 watts all the way up to 425 watts. It's really just dependent upon the system that you want to build, how big and how robust. We have 12 panels here, like I said, 370 watts each. That gives you a little over 4,400 watts. Eventually we'll be adding another 4 here, which will top us out right around 6,000 watts of solar. One of the big, I guess, misconceptions of solar is everybody thinks that you need perfect sunlight to generate energy, and that's not really the case. Today's actually an overcast day. You can see we actually have quite a few trees around our solar panels. Now your solar panels you want to have south facing. Now if we do turn to the south here, you will see that it does open up our property line. These sit about 20 feet back from it, and of course you can see the golf course out there. So it does open up, but we still have quite a bit of tree cover around us. So you don't need to have perfect sunlight for these to work and generate power. Obviously the more you have, the better you're going to be. But let's go inside and I will show you how it gathers the power and how everything is done up. One more thing I want to show you first before we go in is obviously the underside here. These are all your connections. Now you can see on each panel you have a negative and positive. Obviously this is DC voltage coming in. Now your negative and positive with these panels, you can do the same thing that you can do with batteries. You can run them in series or parallel. For those of you that don't know what series and parallel is, if you take say 2 car batteries for instance, and they're 12 volt apiece, and you run them in parallel, what you're going to end up with is still a 12 volt battery, but you're going to double the amperage. In other words, whatever the amperage rating is on each battery, you'll end up doubling it. Now if you run them in series, what's going to happen is you double the voltage, but the amperage stays the same. So these panels, for instance, they are they're run in series in a pair of 2. Okay, so in other words, 2 panels run together, 370 watts each, and they're roughly 36 to 38 volts each, depending upon how much sunlight is hitting them. So when they come in, they're actually right around 72 to 73 volts because, like I said, you're running 2 of them in series. So basically what you end up with is 6 panels and 6 panels together. So let's go inside now and I'll show you what we've got in there. Okay, here we are inside. Now our solar runs into our shed, and then from the shed it will run to the house. In here you can see behind me here, this is our battery bank, which is in the blue here, and I'll explain that in a minute. And then you have the 2 boxes right up here behind me, this one and the one directly above it. Those are what they call connector boxes. They are where all of the cables come in for your solar. So each one of those boxes has 6 solar panels assigned to it, and from there you have 2 wires that run out, and they run over to, let's see if I can get it there, this device behind me, which is what they call an inverter charger. Okay, this is what takes the solar energy and converts it from DC to AC. DC is what those of you probably know best is what your car uses, what your car runs off of, which is direct current, and it changes it over to AC, which is what your house runs on, and that is alternating current. Okay, so I will turn the camera around here so you guys can get a better shot at these, and I'll explain a little bit more in depth as to what these are. Now we switch around here. First we're going to start on our battery bank. Now what you need for a battery bank, this is what stores your solar power. Okay, your power generation during the daytime is split. So during the day, say you're bringing in, 3,000 watts of solar, and you're inside running your, running a coffee maker. That coffee maker will draw so many watts off of the solar panels, but whatever's left is still going to get charged charged and held in these batteries. Okay, and that's what you'll use at night, obviously, when there is no solar. Now, our battery bank is a 48-volt battery bank. Okay, you'll see if I come up closer here, each one of these cells, which is each one of these batteries, is 3.2 volts. Okay, we have 16 of them running in series here. Okay, now again, just like I said outside with the solar panels, when you run them in series, you're going to add the voltage is going to double, but the amperage will stay the same. Okay, so what we have here is, you can see these two batteries are connected. Okay, you're connecting the negative and the positive terminal together on each battery, and as you go through those, you'll add up the voltage all the way down. So with 16 of these, when it's all said and done, we have a 48-volt battery. Okay, now this 48-volt battery holds roughly 600 amp hours. So it's got the capacity to keep us going for quite a few days if there is no sun, or quite a few nights, for that matter. Now, when you charge these batteries, because these are what they call lithium phosphate batteries. Okay, now because they're all connected separately, they have to have something that will monitor how much voltage is in each cell. Okay, now in our batteries, like I said, there's roughly 3.2 volts in each cell when they're full. However, they can be charged above that to almost 4.2 volts. So in order to do that, you need what they call a BMS. Okay, this is a BMS right here. And what this does is, you can see there's a bunch of little wires that come off the very end of it, and they run up here. There's basically 17 of them. And what you have is, you have one wire that goes to each positive terminal on the batteries, on each cell, and then you have one negative wire all the way over on the end here. Okay, now what they do is, those wires basically charge each and every cell independently. Okay, and then you have your main, this is your main negative right here. Okay, that connects to the battery. Now how it controls this is, from your charge controller right here, you've got two wires. One is positive, one is negative. The negative will run down, and it actually comes into this blue wire right here, into the BMS, and then it comes back out on the black wire. Actually, it's a reverse of that. But it'll come back out, and what the BMS does is, it will take the power that comes out of the solar panels and out of the charger, it will store it in here temporarily, and as it stores it, it will then take it and slowly distribute it throughout all of the different cells, so that every cell is properly charged to the level that it should be charged at. Okay, now what we have again up here, to go through a few different things, we have your combiner boxes right here. Okay, this is where all your solar panels come in. You can see there's 6 different wires down here that all come in, and then 2 wires right here that come back out. Okay, if I open one of these up, you'll get a better idea of how it works. Okay, each solar panel is assigned to a breaker right here, just like you have in your regular house, except for these are 12 volt. And then you have a common breaker right here that can shut this box off. So say you leave for the winter, or you are at a point where you need to work on the system, you can actually shut that off so that you don't have any voltage running through it. And now we will show you the charge controller. Now this is basically the brains of the operation. What a charge controller does is everything. Okay, if I don't know if this is going to let me zoom in on this screen or not. We're getting there. There we go. What you're looking at right here is, you're looking at everything coming in and going out. Okay, what we're currently charging is, this is showing us we currently are gathering 20 amps from the sun, and we've got a charge in the batteries of 54.5 volts. Okay, now I can go through this and change these settings. So if I go up a couple here, I will explain some of these other ones. Okay, this right here shows you how many watts are currently being used. Okay, and then if we keep going, we will go to our input on our solar. Okay, you can see PV2, which stands for photovoltaic 2. That's the second charge controller, and it's associated with the second PV combiner. It's bringing in 878 watts right now and 70 volts. And then if you go to PV1, that's bringing in 1.42 kilowatts, which is the same as roughly 1420 volts, or 1420 watts, and 70 volts. So if you combine the total between those two, we're bringing in about 2.5 kilowatts right now. I know this is stuff that's probably going to confuse a few people. Basically, what that means is that many kilowatts, 2.5 kilowatts, would be, turn this back around on me, 2.5 kilowatts would be about the same as if you were to run, say, 2 of your average hair dryers, or a microwave and a hair dryer at the same time. Those are roughly about 1,500 watts apiece. And so that's basically how solar does it. Now, don't think that you can't use more than that, okay? That's what it's charging the battery with right now. That's not what you can use. When it comes to what you can use, that's based on how much battery power you have, and also based on how many amps your inverter is, okay? We have a 60 amp inverter. A normal household runs a 100 amp service, okay? That means you can use up to 100 amps at the same time in your 100 amp service of a regular house. With us, we can use up to 60 amps without an issue, okay? So yeah, you do have some sacrifices to make here and there. If you're using this system, though, as a supplemental system, if you're not going to be completely off the grid with it, then what you can do is, basically the way it would work is any energy you're not using, that box that I just showed you, this one right here, your charge controller, will actually feed that voltage back to the utility company, and the utility company will pay you every month for the energy that you are giving back to them, okay? So that is one bonus, that is one thing that you can gain if you're grid tied, okay? Now, I'm going to flip this back around. The way that this works is from this box here, you'll notice in the bottom here is a fairly heavy black cable that comes in. This is the same as like an entry cable would be in a regular house, okay? This is what your AC current comes out on. This AC current comes out and goes over here to a standard breaker box, just like you would have in your normal house. So hopefully this answers some questions for you guys on solar, how it works, and what you'll need if you decide to do this. I know it's a new technology, and a lot of you are probably still a little bit afraid of it. And I'll be honest, there is a learning curve. When we hooked our system up, I remember we hooked it up and I went to charge the batteries, and the battery immediately died on us, and I wondered why. And it's just because such a massive battery takes so long to charge. But there's things that you'll just learn with time. And another thing that you'll learn is how it performs when it's cloudy outside. You know, we've had a fairly rainy summer so far, and today we've only had a couple hours of sun, and that seems to be what we get every day. Surprisingly enough, that's more than what we need to charge our battery and to still run everything. We've had absolutely no problems, and we've been off the grid now for about 2 weeks. It's kind of nice. We have no utility bills. We have no electric bill. We have well and septic, so we don't have any bills for that either. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.